In life, we usually get what we give. So if you want to get friendship, then you have to be able to give friendship. If you want to receive kindness, then you must be somebody who gives kindness. And the flip side is true as well. If you are somebody who gives negativity and criticism, then you're going to get negativity and criticism. If you are somebody who gives unforgiveness and bitterness, then you're going to get back unforgiveness and bitterness. It's just a law of life, and it usually works in all of our relationships. And today I want to talk to you real quick about one thing that if you could learn to give it in most situations, every situation would improve. If you could learn to give this one thing, your relationships with your family, the people you love, would instantly get better. If you could learn to give this one thing, every issue you've ever struggled with will improve, will get better. Everything is made better in your life when you can learn to give grace. Grace is hard because grace is something we desperately, desperately want from the people who love us, because we are prone, all of us, to mess up, to sin, to make mistakes, to fail people. And when we do, the way we want them to respond is with grace. We want them to have grace for us. When we mess up at work, we hope our boss has grace. When we mess up at home, we hope our spouse has grace. We desperately want and need grace. And so if we want it, we also must give it. The crazy thing about grace is when you get it, it's so refreshing, isn't it? It's like a breath of fresh air. When you get grace from somebody, it's like a drink of cold water on a hot day. It's just so refreshing, so just beautiful when somebody gives you grace. But when you're in a situation where you have to give it, it's almost disturbing. It's the things that run through your brain are, well, he doesn't deserve grace. He hasn't done anything to get grace. And yet grace is the one thing that never can be earned and never can be bought and never can be deserved. And yet it's the thing we want, even though we can't buy it, deserve it, or earn it. But we struggle to give it to somebody else who hasn't bought it, earned it, or deserved it. And I'm so grateful for all the scriptures in the Bible that talk about how God's grace is what moved him. God's grace is what led Jesus to a cross. God's grace is what offers me forgiveness and salvation. And he had to look at us and say, none of them deserve this. None of them have earned it. They certainly couldn't buy it. In fact, that's what Ephesians 2:8 says, for it is by grace you have been saved, not anything you have done, so that nobody could boast. So today, I promise you, you're going to have a situation where you're going to have to choose, do I give grace to this person or not? The reason you're going to have that situation is if you interact with anybody today, somebody's going to do something that offends you, that makes you mad, that upsets you, that wounds you, that betrays you. And the truth is that the best thing you can give is grace. Because when it's on the other side, when you're the one who's done the offending, the wounding, the hurt, and the betrayal, you want grace back. Grace is the awkward answer for almost every situation in your life, and it will instantly make everything better. So may we be people who freely give grace, just as we have freely received it. Grace and peace to you. See ya.